Hello and welcome. Oh, there we go. Hello and welcome. I'm Captain James Bollinger, and you're now watching the Sussex Smuggler. Well, it's been a while since I've been on. It's because I've been on my holidays down to Portland and Weymouth in Dorset. Well, it's actually the Royal Manor of Portland, but for ease of reference, I do believe that the custom and practice nowadays is to call it Portland Dorset. So, yeah, great holiday again down there. Met some lovely people. Made some wonderful vlogs as well. If you care to take a look up on the videos there, I've done a couple of walks from the Biltcliffe book, Gary Biltcliffe's book, Mysterious Portland. One of the walks I did was Hiram's walk out to the well and out onto the, get this right, the West Weirs. Another walk I did was up to the East Weirs. Very fine day, hot weather, but very cool up there on the high cliffs, the East and West Weirs of Portland. So you join me in this show, and I've got a brew here. It's bang yang weather. It's turned a bit. So cheers. Grab yourself a drink, whatever beverage suits you, depending on what time of day, of course, you're watching this show. So I've got a tea here because it felt like one big old mug of tea. Look at this. Hold on, I've got to do a lot of talking. That's why. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, quite a few things to talk about. Some books that I've read recently before I went away on holiday, especially festivals coming up, and some findings, if you like. I've done a blog. Yes, I've done a blog, not a vlog. I've done a blog since seeing you last on the Land Garden, in particular some stories on the riding officers across the southern coasts of Kent, Sussex, Hampshire and Dorset. And some of it was from local feedbacks and some books I've got as well. I met local historian and author of Crabchurch Conspiracy for a few jars on the yarn, Mark Vine. So a big hello out there goes out to Mark Vine and Sam Vine, his lovely wife. Great to meet you, and thanks for taking me around all those lovely old pubs in Weymouth proper, not Melcombe Regis, Weymouth proper. That's the North Quay. In particular, the Boot, the Belvedere, and the Chapel Hay. It's great, brilliant having some ciders and having a walk around and getting a narrative on what was in the old North Quay and some happenings and whatnot. Some paranormal happenings as well in one particular pub in the Belvedere and the Boot. They were interesting stories, and enjoyed that very much. I've got the candlestick over. I'll be lighting them soon if this darkness this darkness will continue. But yeah, it's a terrific time back down there. Hopefully on the 6th of October for the Pirate Festival. So if you haven't seen the Pirate Festival poster, flyer, there's several about, but the main one is here. Let me just put that up on the screen. There it is, yeah. Hosted by the Dolman at Hardy's Hop House. So get yourself there, 6th, 7th and 8th of October. If you see me, do come and say hello, please. With such a wide audience, I don't know you all, but if you do, come and say hello, have a chat. But yeah, getting back to the North Quay, I understand Digger Street has started its excavation of the North Quay area because I understand the monstrosity of the town hall is about to come down, and Digger Street are trying to get in there before that takes place and see what's under the tarmac. Some interesting finds to be had already, and photographs are available on the Facebook page, or I think it's a page or a group, I'm not sure. Dig the Streets, Weymouth, have a look at that. Some objects have already been found. Maybe you could help in clarifying what the objects are, because obviously they create some mystery as to what I've made a shout on something that looks like a shoe or a sandal. to me. So well worth a look. As I said earlier, getting back to what I said earlier, the Boot Pub, fantastic little venue to go into on the North Quay at Weymouth. There, fantastic pub. Have a sit down, have a chat. Just a very interesting historic pub. Apparently with a peat cellar as well. I didn't sadly get to see it this time, but maybe another time. Which suggests a lot of things. One, that maybe the water line came up to the pub once upon a time, because it does claim to be the oldest pub in Weymouth, which is likely because it stands on the old High Street. And of course, then we went on to the Belvedere, another interesting pub. And we met Lynn Mackenzie there, the landlady. An interesting chat with her about some of her paranormal residents there. And it was on to the Chapel Hay, which is an interesting tavern where I was told that a lot of the American troops prior to D-Day actually left their signatures on the ceiling. I wonder how many of those guys, the ceiling of the pub in the bar, should have gone on to explain that, and I wonder how many of those guys made it back to see those signatures again. So a very interesting story. As for Portland, you'll see I've started up now a Facebook page called the Sussex Smuggler with a capital T. And what I'm going to do is I'm uploading all my photographs from all my visits onto there, because sometimes you can't put it all onto the blog. It's not practical. So if you want to see some of the stuff I've been doing, like the old town of Hastings, I've labelled it up as John Collier. John Collier's walk to church. John Collier's walk to church and the tavern and that kind of thing. John Collier I'll get onto in a minute. So I've started that up to have a look and see what you think of that. Lots of nice photos. Portland Castle was an interesting visit. As was the lighthouse, the Bill, goes without saying, really. I didn't get to Sandsfoot Castle, which was a shame, but you just run out of time with these things. But Knowth Fort is well worth a visit. And I think Knowth Fort, like Portland Castle, is a very well kept venue, very well kept museum. I mean, I was really impressed when I went to Knowth Fort. Not just the views and what they had to offer, but even the models didn't look dated. They looked like they were well maintained, painted, nicely presented, and there was a nice dissection exhibition or exhibit, probably is a better word, of a Martello Tower, which I've been dying to get into a Martello Tower. Believe it or not, they're dotted all around Sussex and Kent. But they've never been opened when I've gone to go in them, which is an awful shame. So there's a terrific exhibit, a model of one. I took some photographs. I've uploaded them to the Facebook page. So that gave me a good idea of how a Martello Tower functioned and what it looked like on the inside, despite being surrounded by loads of them on the Sussex and Kent coast, but they've never been opened when I've gone to go into them. But yes, it's a terrific fort, brilliant place to go for some really interesting exhibits, cannons and machine guns. I'm no expert on World War II, but the views are terrific. Apparently used to work in conjunction with guarding the area, the harbour, with Portland Castle, and nothing to be taken away from Portland Castle either. Excuse me. Portland Castle, absolutely terrific, and well worth a day out for the family. A lovely cream tea there, by the way, but very interesting. A good walk round. You've got some terrific views there as well. Great cannons, and with English Heritage, they give you an earpiece where you can walk around and have an audio commentary of everything, which is brilliant. I mean, I just happen to be a member of English Heritage, and well worth it if you're into your history. So yeah, absolutely terrific. Portland Castle, brilliant. There's also up on what's called Top Hill, up the Fortunes Well Road, right up the top, sort of behind the Heights is the High Battery. That's worth a visit. I mean, there isn't really a lot there except for the gun emplacements and the fortifications that are so well over engineered, and they're featured in my vlog actually on the channel. That's worth a visit. And of course, on the way, you pass the citadel that the Victorians built, sadly, on the old Iron Age fort. I cover that off in my vlog as well, and that's well worth a visit. And of course, the front end, there's the front entrance to the citadel as well, is well worth. The entrance to that is magnificent. The views from up there is incredible. The building's really interesting. It's such a shame that by the look of things, it's only going to be the prison that's going to be left holding and standing, whereas the rest of it potentially may fall down, which is a shame. And it kind of is a bit like the nuclear bunker at RAF Portland under Fancy's Farm. I mean, I understand from a YouTube video that it's full of water now, which is a great shame. So it'd be a terrific tourist draw to have a look at what things were like in the Cold War. But that's all featured on my vlog that I did on one of my walks. So you have to have a rummage through them, watch them, and see what you think. Okay, John Collier, a terrific book. Stay there. I believe I have it to hand. Here it is. Oh, let me hold it up. Put my glasses down. There we go. Great book. Put the slide up. It's called Mr. Hastings by. Hang on. There we go. I've got to press the right buttons. Should be we now. Oh, not that one. Remove that. There we go. There we go. That's it. Yeah, this is a great book by Kent Barker. Yeah, brilliant read. Yeah, look, it certainly looks. It's a bulky book, but the way he's written it is two things. How he starts it. He's sitting up. Those of you that know Hastings, he's sitting up on the east cliff overlooking the town and the sea, and he's sitting next to John Collier himself, and he's starting off with a conversation with him. And funny enough, the book ends in the same way. It's the in-between bit that obviously is of interest. And the way that he can tell, that Kent can tell the stories by using the thousands upon thousands of letters that John Collier wrote. He was a prolific letter writer, and his family was, and all the people he dealt with as well. So you had you get a great commentary of Hastings, the politics, because it was a sink port, it was a corporation, operated very differently. Excuse me. Very differently to other local authorities. Well, the sink ports did, and I read an interesting booklet. I should have brought it in with me here, from by Robert Bassett Slater, a short history of Pevensey. Pevensey being another sink port, not too far away, 10 miles down the road or so from Hastings, and again another sink port, and he describes the laws and the arrangements that they had with the king. So you have this unique setting. John Collier, a lawyer, Surveyor General for Kent, not for Sussex, that was Major Battin. However, Rye, being in East Sussex and was considered part of Hastings, is a bit odd, but I suppose makes sense at the time because of distance. It would be an outer lying town, and a port, and a sink port, by the way, came under his jurisdiction. I think he was a bit of a reluctant Surveyor General, but he got paid handsomely, as my blog on the Land Guard goes into. And he was also a land agent for the Duke of Newcastle and his lands around Hastings and Sussex. And John Collier also had practice in London, so he'd be away in London for 3 or 4 months of the year. And on top of that, in terms of politics, he was a very close ally of the Whig government. So not bad for the son of a landlord from Eastbourne, to say the least. And from the letters, you get a flavour of how he got the town's first fire engine, how he diverted the Bourne River, which is now a road. The river, I think, is probably underneath it, down from the hills and into the town to supply fresh water. The prosecutions against smugglers, and also defence of some smugglers as well, especially local ones and ones that were related to him. But we've got to understand, as I've already mentioned in my blog, that with the Georgian times, corruption was quite normal. He was a very wealthy man, John Collier, and owned a lot of land, the east and west cliffs of Hastings, a lot of properties, and I think he had some in Surrey as well that he purchased. And it's an interesting read, how he dealt with this, as I already said, the smugglers in particular. The Hawkhurst gang would have been all around him. And of course, he had a relative as well that shot and mortally wounded a dragoon in Gort, now Gort on Sea, what would have been at the time Sea Place, following a landing, and he was sentenced to death. He got a pardon and an amendment to the sentence. So it's all in there. It's a good book to read and refer to other smuggling stories as well, and not just the smuggling. It goes into his personal life. Had lots of children and 2 wives, which he lost to plague. He survived himself, and also what was really interesting was from his correspondence with his deputies when he was in Bath, taking the spa water because of his ill health. He has regular correspondence with his deputies that he left behind in Hastings over the Amsterdam crisis. Again, I've done a blog on that and some videos you will find on the channel, which may be of interest to you, I don't know. So yeah, terrific book, to say the least. I got it for, let's have a look here, I got it for £10 down at the Hastings History Society at Courthouse Lane in the old part of Hastings there. I mean, I've been trying to hunt this book down for quite some time, and I saw it there. I thought, I must get that. So I jumped in and did so. So well worth a read. I'm going to obviously get for reference as well, because you find all sorts of things in that. I'll just put that back up there, the Pirate Festival Weymouth. I'm not really plugging that much, as you can see. It's probably better than looking at me anyway. So yeah, terrific book, great read again. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, continuing with the reading as well. I was trying to hunt this down, and it sort of fell out of the sky for me. Excuse me. Just going to wet the old whistle. Oh, I suppose you notice in the silence you've got Pirates Defeat by Reaver's Gallows playing out there still. Brilliant song. Yeah, this since getting involved and researching the wreck of the VOC Amsterdam, sort of has really, I don't know, given me some impetus into finding out more about shipwrecks, and it was sort of very convenient and terrific. A terrific opportunity that going to Portland on holiday, in particular, I don't know if you as viewers are familiar with it, but along Portland is an island, and linking it via a bridge, so it really is an island, is the Chesil Bank, called Chesil Beach. Officially, which is named Dead Man's Bay for a lot of reasons, mainly because of shipwrecks and dead bodies and what was washed up on the shore. And what spurred me on was after I finished my research, which I will go back to because things like this are always ongoing. I was in my research to the VOC, the Amsterdam, in the same storm in the same year, and the same month as well, and within a few days, I think as well. I'm not too specific on that. There was another VOC ship called the Hope, or Die Hoop in Dutch. Forgive me, I can't speak Dutch, but that's my attempt. That was shipwrecked along Dead Man's Bay, or Chesil Beach, if you like. And that was carrying some very valuable goods via South America. And that was wrecked on the Chesil Beach there. So I started digging into that. And I mean, if I had more time, I'd probably writing my own book on that. But I stumbled across, how many of you out there that research history or watch history stumble across things? How many times? It happens to me all the time, and it sends me off on another lead. And you think, wow, I didn't know that. Even in my local town, as you may not have read on my blog, I was looking for the local courthouse to see where a lot of smugglers and highwaymen would have been tried, and I stumbled across a highway robbery. But anyway, look, I came across the tale or the story of the Golden Grape, and there was a terrific book because there was nothing on the Die Hoop. So not yet, anyway. Who knows? There might be something that comes up in the future. Who knows? And I stumbled across Selwyn Williams' book called The Treasure of the Golden Grape. Now, this book is really academically written, and there it is. I mean, the cover is done by the lovely Sam Vine, in case you didn't know, and there's a tribute to the Goldman Band in the back, and Mark Vine as well, for the information and cooperation that they've supplied for the launch of the book. You can find and buy the book on Dead Man's Bay. I think it's www.deadmansbay.co.uk. If you have trouble finding it, get in touch like you usually do. And it's a terrific read. You do not need to do anything else on the subject, because what Selwyn Williams has done, it's a terrific read. He's covered everything. He's gone everywhere to find the information. You don't need to contact the public offices or anything like that. It's all there. And it's word for word the minutes of inquiry that were given post the wreck, who had what away, who wrecked what, everything. I mean, every conceivable bit of detail is contained within this book. It really is. There's the inquiry, the testimonies of each and every individual, and as well, a good tip. That was great. I mean, there's some terrific illustrations as well of what went on, and some objects found that are made up. Some terrific photographs, just like Peter Marston's book. It covers pretty much everything. It gives you the illustrations and paintings and pictures. It gives you a great idea. Imagination. Imagine this what happened on the night and the following couple of days, and the inquiry. Of course, that happened million from the Bad Church conspiracy. Buckingham picks up, comes up in it, where he gets to having lots of them, the goods, the cargoes, and the money. And finally, he goes on supporting the Bad Church conspiracy. Now, I'm going to touch on it a bit. Exactly what I said, but one of my books, I visited the St Andrew's Church site, the church home, and I put it out there. I'll let you watch it and figure out what it is, but Family hiding that way. That's it. Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of books and lots of things that happen a lot of been had since then. But it should be read in conjunction with Mark One's the Crab Church conspiracy. Finding one thing an observation out there. Do you find the Bible and there's anything much from history? IPA. He went on to instigate the Crab Church conspiracy and used the money raised from this wreck. I get the impression he was a wealthy man anyway. I mean, I'm not sure if it really it's really hard to put down at the same time. I don't want to finish it either. So I have to congratulate Selwyn Williams on his book. It's a terrific book. As I said, it's all there. So we have all the information we need, and I'd like to see another couple of books come out. The story of the Golden Grape that sent out from Amsterdam, I believe it was, to go over to Spain, which could be or South and there. And then the dragon was way back and got caught in the battle and washed up and wrecked, bleached. Probably the best word on Cheddar Beach and broke up with the locals coming around and stripping of his cargoes, in particular some red raisins, I think. It was packers of them that were taken off. Amongst other things. You don't need to do any further investigation before you read this book. I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. I like the way it really deep, the level of detail is just second to none, it really is. And I enjoyed it. So if you're interested in shipwrecks, that is a very specific book to read. I'd like to see, and there's a bit of a challenge. Certainly, doing something that we do. And then we can narrow it up, maybe the VOC, the VOC, the VOC Amsterdam as well, same year, same storm, different locations. So, thanks for that, Selwyn. Terrific read. I enjoyed it, and the same was in my library. I saw the library because I know that's something really about these things, keep your books. Because you have that back to the box, or just put it up on there for now. Let's see what else we've got there on the show. Let's tell you the Golden Grape come in. Just in case you missed it, there's the Pirate Festival in Weymouth. There's all the details that you need. There's a map all over Facebook. So if you need any details, it's after the video. Yes, another book, was really got into the piece of the riding officer at the Land Court having played the part at the greenhouse and then going on and playing the part at the Penalty History Festival, where we occupied the jail and we had the smuggler. It's kind of on trial, if you like. It wasn't a formal trial, but more like an identification. We had the kids in, and then they confirmed that he was a pirate, as they like to say, and a smuggler, and all the rest of it. So that was a success. So really enjoyed that. Hopefully we'll get invited back to do that again. I believe we increased the footfall of the museum as well by some 700. So not bad. Great time to be had by all. Get very warm again. Excuse me a minute. And of course, I'm just going to take that there. Whilst we're on the subject, here's the good people, including myself. I'll get back to the point I was trying to make in it. Here we are, that took part in the Pevensey History Festival in the jail. We had a bit of a photo shoot as well with our photographer, Corin Spinks, www.corinography.co.uk. There we are, there's all the characters of the day. Fantastic stuff. Really enjoyed that. That was great. And seeing the kids' faces as well. I'll let you guess who the smuggler was. I'll let you work that out. Yeah, as I said, all the kids' faces as well, and great satisfaction. And they got into it using their wonderful imagination. There we go. But yeah, I wrote a blog on the Land Guard, and when I was in Portland, Weymouth on holiday, I was fortunate enough to meet up with local historian and author Mark Vine, and his lovely lady and Jim Goody as well. We had a couple of sherbets, and they were telling me some stories, which a couple I went away and researched. And I'll let you read it on the blog, but there was a couple of things that came about the riding officers in Dorset, and I stumbled across this guy, Warren Lyle. There's a picture of him right there, and he was the Surveyor General about the same time as John Collier was of Hastings, and kind of was of similar ilk, except he wasn't a lawyer. He was a very young man when he started his career off as in the customs and excise. He was in his early 20s when he made his first seizure at Smallmouth in Portland Harbour, which is basically in the area of now Ferry Bridge. And he was so well liked that he went on and was promoted to Surveyor General and then Surveyor of the sloops as well. And it was a bit of a privateer in as much as that all the goods that he took, he could keep a percentage of them as well. So he invested in a lot of ships that he commandeered and he refitted out. And he lived in the old customs house in on the Malcolm Regis side of Weymouth, on the South Quay. And he was another case of an accident that I stumbled across him while I was trying to research the Land Guard blog. No, the Land Guard blog was originally just going to be about riding officers, and I thought, well, change it because it just opens it up a bit more. You can introduce characters like John Collier, and it was good that there was an opening for someone from outside of Sussex and Kent, and Warren Lyle was ideal for it. So there's a good couple of paragraphs on him on the blog. That picture, it's the only picture I could find of him, and I had to go to an auction house and borrow it via the internet. I hope they don't mind. It was up for sale. It was a double portrait with him and his son. His son, by the way, went into customs, but the customs and excise service. But yeah, some interesting reads on the blog about him. If you care to have a look at that, I found him quite fascinating, really. But what I want to know is a bit like John Collier in Hastings. John Collier only has so far only found one road and one plaque named after him, all for what he did for the town. And arguably he could have done more. A bit like Lyle. I mean, I don't know Weymouth as well as I know Hastings. And of course he was Warren Lyle was Mayor of Lyme Regis. So I mean, if there's any local watchers, viewers that can say if they know of a road or a monument or a plaque dedicated to Warren Lyle, it'd be interesting. And because with John Collier, as I said, there's only a road and one plaque that I can find. Although his house survives, and that you'll see pictures of that on the Sussex Smuggler on Facebook. But that's it. There's no reference. I mean, there's a picture of John Collier in the Wetherspoons pub in Hastings. But I'm just wondering if there's anything like that of Lyle, because he did didn't do quite a lot, did a lot as well for his town. He was towns plural because he worked and lived in Lyme Regis as well. So another interesting find. Hang on a minute. That just stumbled across. So, but you'll read more on the blog. So yeah, another interesting character, a great piece of local history. The blog has a funny story of a riding officer as well at Moonfleet. Mark Vine told me about that, and I found it in a book, so that verifies it further. So yeah, good stuff. Really enjoyed finding out the bits and pieces about Warren Lyle. Let me just get myself back on there. There we go. There I am. Back again. Oh, there we are. So, let me do my plug. Let's have a look. Hold on. What if I click that? We should. There we go. Back again. Plugging it away. So, yeah, that was a good blog to type up about the land guard. As I said, I expanded it originally from I was just going to initially write about the riding officer, but I thought it'd be a shame really not to use the Collier, Mr. Hastings book in not adding to the blog of the riding officers and call it the land guard. So that's what I did. So there you have it. Look, hope to see you in Weymouth on the 6th, 7th and 8th of October for the Pirate Festival. A big shout out to Dig the Street, who are currently going through and taking up the North Quay area, or some of the North Quay area in Weymouth. Wish I was there myself. But one day, you never know. So a big thank you to everyone I met on holiday. We had a fantastic time. Great to be back on Portland and the surrounding area. Didn't get everywhere that we planned to do, but that's life really. But I'm sure we'll be back another time. Let's take that now. We're going to say my goodbyes now. If you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the blog, the sussexsmuggler.co.uk. There's also now the Facebook like page, capital T, the sussexsmuggler.co.uk. Come and give us a like. All the photographs and historical bullet points will be on there. I'll leave it to you, and hopefully I'll see you in another couple of weeks for another live broadcast. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe. It's been great seeing you again. It's getting a bit chilly, as I said, it's Banyan weather already. See you again soon. Thanks again for watching, and I'll just close off with the usual. I'm a bit out of practice because I haven't done this for a few weeks, but here I am. Let me just